Hello everyone, Shirley here. And today's boss is Heroic Dimensius. We got this down pretty quick on week 1, so we're going to take you through it here on the Arms Warrior. I'm playing a standard single target Slayer build for this boss. And first things first, right off the rip, I tried to precast Sweeping Strikes before going through the portal to hit this Living Mass and the boss. Don't do that, you lose your Sweeping Strikes buff. So as you drop through the portal, I would go ahead and get, it rolling immediately if you want to get Colossus Smash on both the ad and the boss. But as soon as that little ad goes down, we're going to immediately slide over to the left there to hide in the little soak circle so we don't, explode from the boss. It seems to come out a little bit quicker on Heroic than normal mode, so you really want to be just immediately running off to the middle there to get that down. And then the next set of ads come out for this first little mechanic. What I'm doing here is putting up Sweeping Strikes immediately just to get bleeds and everything on the fusion and the boss. And then I'm going to charge back and put some pressure on that back ad so I can be in position to drop those purple puddles on the ground that come out really quick, and I want to be in the middle of the room, back off towards our tanks on the left there for that first drop. So that's why I'm charging back to that guy and hitting him and then pre-positioning for the drop. And then we can leap back in and finish off that next ad and keep, the pace going here. This fight is pretty fast, actually, the way things come out. The tank mechanic, the knockback, happens right there. I had Bladestorm up for it, so you can immune that knockback with Bladestorm, and I'm going to do that right as this ad spawns and help cleave it down and get it going here. Trying to get as many Juggernaut stacks rolling as I can on these ads when they get low, so we can continue executing the boss for bigger damage. Unfortunately, my second set of CDs come up here right as the gravity wells come out, so I burn them anyway just to get the cooldown rolling, but unfortunate timing for that. We're going to be stacking up on this moon marker for these hide phases, and even though it spawned back on the right there, it'll move with the group or the people that have the little orbs, so you can move the soak circle basically to wherever you want in the room. Each of these tank knockbacks too, as a warrior, if you're like max melee range off to the side, you can get enough distance to charge back, for some free rage the whole time. As we're getting down to the end of phase 1 here, we're going to go ahead and continue executing the boss and just cleave that guy. And soaking these big orb things, I can't remember what they're called, but definitely don't be in it before it changes into the soak circle because it'll just kill you. Speaking of which, you can have Spell Reflect up for each and every one of these and help mitigate some of that damage, which is always nice. Right here, when he grips everybody and casts Event Horizon, you've got a 1 or 2 globals that you can use there, so if you want to, hit him again or, get up execute, I'm not sure if that actually counts, but you can. And now we go into our first intermission phase here. Now, right on this first one, don't get too ahead of yourself, basically. If you just full send it, that rock wall that comes in right at the start won't actually spread apart enough, and it'll just kill you. So just slow down for like a second, and then go on that very first one, just so you can get the gaps in that rock wall. On the second set, you can just go. But anyway, as we get to our first intermission ad here, this Void Walker guy, we're going to drag him into the middle of the room, and keeping our raid in this kind of quadrant off to the side here for when he spawns the wall ads. And this is also where I save my cooldowns here rather than just instantly burning them on the big guy, because we want to make sure that all these little ads die, or the 2 ads that got gripped in, as well as the wall ads, the Void Warden there. And we did have to move across because he's throwing a planet at us off screen there. You can tell that by which arm he's raising is where he's going to throw it, or whether that's left or right. And now he's doing the knockback right here, and that's why the raid is all stacking up to the front left there. As a warrior, you don't really need to do that. You can kind of just abuse charge, and, as long as you got a couple of charges of it, you can charge back twice here and just completely negate the knockback and get some rage for it. And we burned down that second ad, or that first guy, pretty quick. So we didn't need to kill the second wall ad there, really. But sometimes, especially on progression, you're going to want to kill that second wall ad more often than not, just in case you have to move back through. And as we fly to the next platform here, this second set, you can just full send, go as fast as you can to get to the second one. There's no big rock walls in the way that are going to, instantly knock you off your mount. And as we get to this bat guy here, this is like a mirror of the first platform. We're going to spin him around because Dimensius is behind us now. and get to this same position basically as the first side. It's just, you know, reverse from the other direction now. And once again, I'm holding CDs here just to burn the ads when they come up. Unfortunately, we actually pushed the first guy so fast that I don't have Avatar and Roar back right here. So we lose some damage here where I would rather be Bladestorming, you know, the wall ads and those two guys plus the big guy. But it is what it is. We're doing really well on time here as we get Pargoth into execute phase and continue chunking him. And normally we would be killing the wall ad, but we got it down. We didn't have to move across this time. And we've got this guy low enough after this knockback here that we're going to go ahead and just full commit on the Void Walker rather than kill the wall again because he's so low. And down he goes. And now we get into phase 3. 5, whatever you want to call it, towards the end of the fight here. And we've got a like 15-second window as we hit down on the platform where Dimensius doesn't do anything and we can do some extra damage. So this is where we're going to use our Lust, our second damage potion, and just burn as much, you know, damage into Dimensius right here as we can. I've just got CS and Bladestorm up for this, but, you know, it is what it is. It's still decent. As we get down to the final hour here, get him down to 75% before he really does anything. Starting to spawn the planets around the room here as they start to orbit him. This final phase is a bit much when you first see it, but it's really not that bad once you get to know it a bit. This first mechanic coming out is these 3 rings that spawn around the room. The first one that comes out we're going to get as close as possible to. As soon as you see it drop, so you can go through that ring. And then the second one we're going to kind of walk towards so we can get hit by it. And then that third one you might have to back up a little bit just to make sure that you don't have the debuff before that third one comes out. And then he does the next mechanic where we have to hide. You just stand on the planet. I would stand in it longer than you think. And the next mechanic here, the tank pull-in. Basically, you just want to keep track of where your tank is at this whole time in this phase, because you can get out of position with the knockbacks, and that's the really scary part. I would also recommend, so here's another ring coming in, I'm going to inch towards it as we get him almost down to execute phase here. If you're ever in like doubt of where to be standing, is opposite of your tank, of course, but I would be in between the 2 planets that you're next to rather than standing next to them so much. Just in case you're out of, you know, if you don't know exactly where you're at, you don't get pulled or knocked into a black hole like the one in the back there. This planet on the right's going to explode, so we're going to run away from that. It does fall off damage, so you really want to be out of that melee range of it as it goes. Luckily, we get a ring spawn right behind us here, so we don't really have to chase this one down. I'm going to throw up a reflect for each of these as well, cheating off to the right here to get that second ring. That way we got plenty of time before the third one hits us. And now the tank grip mechanics coming in right here. So some of these can get kind of sketchy if you're getting drug around the room and there's a black hole in the back too. So you don't want to touch the black holes, obviously, but also if you go through Dimensius, you just die as well. So you really want to be fighting that grip every time. Here we get a little bit spread out from the rest of the group because of where it went, but we're just running around for this last hide phase. And one of our tanks go down, so it gets a little spicy here at the tail end, but we've got them low enough that I think we're going to do just fine on the execute. And down goes Dimensius on Heroic. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.